Hello, my name is Courtney and I serve on the vestry here at St. George's. You're reviewing the second in a series of videos designed to summarize our church's Holy Cow survey data. In our first installment, you heard from our junior warden, Molly Pruitt, as she pointed out the ways in which the survey data was assessed by the Holy Cow Consulting Group. Slides will show kind of this paradigm as we go through and the results and ways in which we can move on with it. On our first slide, Holy Cow assessed the data based upon age groups. Persons under 35, persons between 35 and 64, and then persons over the age of 65. Looking at our second slide, the recommendations from Holy Cow Consulting based upon these age groupings were made. The following are examples of those recommendations. Number 1, utilize best practices to reach out to people with the message of God's love. Number 2, St. George's will offer 1 or 2 training sessions with the goal in mind of building confidence and effectiveness in outreach. And number 3, help St. George's leaders explore options for building relationships. Turning to our next slide, in our efforts to share our church survey data, we will do so using the paradigm of, as I mentioned earlier, now, meaning where we are. Next, referring to suggestions from the survey data, as well as from Holy Cow Consulting Group. And lastly, later. This means ways in which the congregation will participate in decisions that will guide in the writing of our church profile. If I were to give a subtitle for this section of our survey review, it would be that we're still in the now phase and we are looking forward and toward to what's next. The report suggests the following issues should be considered for action as we transition. First, how well the preaching enriches the lives of our people. Second, providing opportunities for different approaches to decisions. Thirdly, how well the church helps members discern their gifts. And number 4, the quality of the worship experience. Currently, the interim rector, church staff, and the vestry are engaged with each of these aspects. As the church profile is drafted, those responsible will consider which of these 4 elements will need immediate action versus delay of action for the next rector. According to our data, we need to find a rector who will join us where we are right now and lead us to where we are going. St. George's has extraordinarily high energy, high satisfaction at the current time. This is a great climate to be put in, but it can be difficult to remain there. Therefore, strong strategic leadership will be important for the next rector to possess. So how can we be a ready church? Where do we want to go? And where do we put our energies? And we'll look at that on our next slide. Currently, we have a high energy and high satisfaction as of the close of Bishop Dorothy Wells's tenure. We need to celebrate and cultivate that reality. We are here and we want to stay here. Based upon the Holy Cow data, our common priority among all age groups is to develop and implement a comprehensive strategy to reach new people and to incorporate them in the life of our church. So focusing more on that common priority on our next slide. Again, to develop and implement a comprehensive strategy to reach new people and to incorporate them into the life of the church. On our next slide, we're going to dig into exactly who we are. What is our church culture? Our church culture is one called a paraclete culture. So that, if I had to give a headline for that, it's the idea of a community, openness, and a comfort level. And this lens intends to translate over to inclusivity, warmth, and hospitality. And that then translates over to the development of a spiritual path that, while it can be unique in nature, also serves our common goal. Continuing on with that idea about our paraclete culture, the takeaway for what that actually means here is a focus, a laser focus. We are really honed in on healing engaged ministries. We are very comfortable with being on the front lines with regard to providing warmth and hospitality. especially for those on the margins of our community who are in particular need of healing and recovery. This focus can also help us internally prepare for just the ever-changing world in this fast-paced society that we're in. A great thing about this is it gives us, this openness gives us a level of flexibility so that we can easily pivot to changes in this fast-paced world, as I mentioned before. Now, turning to our next slide, there is a bit of a downside to this paraclete culture, and that really is kind of an outgrowth of focus. Focus can start to translate into being very formulaic and perfunctory, just going through the motions. And then as you go through the motions, people might get locked into certain positions and overcommitted, burnt out, and then you lose levels of accountability and check-in and touch points and everything. So what really that focus needs to hone in on and stay with is the power of the gospel to transform our lives, not just a power to comfort. Again, not going through the motions, but really focusing on transformation and how we can, disseminate that into the community. And then lastly, this paraclete culture obviously will have clergy needs associated with it. We would need a clergy or a rector good at missional alignment and clarity, experience with training and assessing effectiveness of current programming and ministries, helping those feel comfortable with their faith while deepening their spiritual walk. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the idea of promoting and enveloping upon our spiritual gifts, and then committed to work of shifting culture from internal to external focus. Again, as our community and world just tends to spin on and get a little bit more out there, shall we say. So, this is a synopsis of the opportunities that will equip us in becoming and staying a ready church. You may be wondering what St. George's needs from you. Currently, that would be prayer and support. Support through participation, giving, and spreading the word in the community about our events. Now, we would love to hear from you about this. We encourage you to share your thoughts, your questions, your observations, and general feedback via the link that is included in the notification page that you got for this video. Thank you so much.